It means to lift. It means to bear up. It means to carry. It means to take. That's what Jesus did.
They say what you praying for. Jesus, he's our present hope.
This is Everyday Preachers answering everyday questions. Right back at you.
All right, we'll go to the next one. This one here goes out to Jamie McQueen. Jamie, she was asking for us to expound on Isaiah 53 and 4. I'm going to read that. When you get a chance, just read the whole chapter. But Isaiah 53, 4, she just asked to expound upon that verse and what does it actually mean. And I think it's a good question because there are a couple of different views on what Isaiah actually 53, 50, even 54 means. And we'll get into that. But let's read that. It says, surely he has borne our griefs, sicknesses, weaknesses, and distresses, and carried our sorrows and pains of punishment. Yet we ignorantly considered him stricken, smitten, and afflicted by God as if with leprosy. And then he brings in Matthew 8:17. We're going to go through to Matthew 18:17 also. There are scholars who believe that this is not only talking about the healing of the spirit, but they group it and say he's talking about he healed our spirit when he died on the cross and we get saved, the healing of the spirit. But they also attach it to the physical healing and saying because of the spiritual healing, we can receive physical healing now in this life. And I have somewhat of agreement with that, but there's an extreme that focus on the aspect of the physical healing. And let me read that scripture also, Jamie. The scripture, Matthew chapter 8, verse 14 through 17. And this is why they really put an emphasis on physical healing. That Jesus died, and so you go after your physical healing, and they place all the focus on just the physical healing. It is people who've had certain diseases, and they spend the whole time just bombarding heaven for years for their person to be healed physically instead of focusing on what God is doing with that individual, what they can be learning through the sicknesses that they have in that moment. And some of them never have received a physical healing. But let's read Matthew chapter 8, verse 14 through 17. And when Jesus went into Peter's house, he saw his mother-in-law lying ill with a fever. He touched her, and the fever left her, and she got up and began waiting on him. When evening came, they brought to him many who were under the power of demons, and who drove out the spirits with a word and restored health all who were sick. And thus he fulfilled that was spoken by the prophet Isaiah. He himself took in order to carry away our weaknesses and infirmities and bore away our diseases. Isaiah 53:4. So they quote this. They say, look at the physical healing here. This is what Jesus comfort, not only spiritual, but physical. And they focus so much on the physical. And when they preach Isaiah 53 and 4, they bring it from a standpoint of physical healing. But what Jesus was doing, he was actually fulfilling prophecy. Not only was he fulfilling prophecy, he was letting us know in the kingdom that we're in now spiritually, there ain't no sicknesses. And so he was given a hint of what was going to take place when we cross over to be with Jesus. All the physical ailments and things that you have, it won't be any of that. So he was giving them a taste of it to let them experience a physical healing. The thing is, she still died. So it couldn't have been the focus of this physical healing as people are saying. And let me give you just a couple of definitions also, Jamie, just to bring it out a little bit more. And when the word born, he said, born our griefs. And it's the Hebrew word. I won't give you that, but I don't think it's important right here in this context, what I'm about to give you. It means to lift. It means to bear up. It means to carry. It means to take. That's what Jesus did. He's speaking of what he did at Calvary. And it means to lift oneself up. That's what he said. When I be lifted up, I'll draw all men unto me. He was speaking of Calvary. He's speaking of the cross. This is what Isaiah 53 is speaking of when he's born all griefs, all the pain of sin that Adam that went to Adam. Now mankind is in a state of sickness. They need to be healed spiritually. And this is what Isaiah was speaking of. And also the word grief is from the word means this: to be or become weak, be or become sick, be or become diseased. That's what happened when Adam fell. He was diseased with sin. Be or become grieved, and then goes on and gives more definitions. But as you look this stuff up, it's speaking of the spiritual healing. And another thing also, Jamie, if you read when Isaiah was writing, Israel was in a state of such disconnection and separation from God. Isaiah comes on the scene. God started raising up these prophets and saying God is going to send a redeemer. And this is what the redeemer is going to do. He's going to heal the spiritual sickness that Israel is operating in. This is why they're going after heathenistic gods. This is why they are committing sins, dealing with false worshiping false gods, is because they need a healing in their spirit. And so Isaiah comes in Isaiah 53, and he began to prophesy of God sending a redeemer that was going to save and deliver the people. So Isaiah 53 deals with the spiritual healing. And then when we read over in the New Testament, when he was speaking of Jesus healing Peter's mother-in-law, that was a fulfillment. And to give us a taste of what is going to be in heaven, we're not going to have need physical healing or things like that. We're going to be completely healed, and there won't be no sicknesses. And see what you have.
No, thank you. No, I don't have anything.
They say what you praying for. Jesus, he's